My name's Lacey Slizeski. While I was standing in line for the Democratic caucus last month, I got into a familiar argument with an older lady who said, as a strong young feminist woman, you have an obligation to vote for Hillary. This line of reasoning has become increasingly commonplace, and I, for one, am sick of it. I've self-identified as a feminist since childhood, and I've researched this topic extensively, especially studying female representation in government. So I feel confident in telling you that as a feminist, it's okay to say no to Hillary Clinton. But you may ask, I'm not sure if I am a feminist, and if I do support women, how can I not support this woman? First, I believe that most of you in this room, male or female, will identify with my definition of feminism. And you'll come to see that as a feminist, you don't need to vote for Hillary. Because, first of all, representation includes more than just gender. Also because we can't smash the patriarchy by supporting the establishment. And because true progressives don't vote based on their emotions. Most of you probably consider yourselves already to be intelligent and progressive people, so why don't you all consider yourself feminists? Personally, I believe in liberal feminism, which is a form of individualist feminism and is really easy to support if you value things like justice, equality, and freedom for all. Individualist feminists attempt to challenge legal systems in order to eliminate class and gender privileges, and to ensure that all individuals have the same equal rights. This type of feminism encourages all people to take responsibility for their own actions, their own lives, and their own choices, and their own bodies. Feminist theorist Rosemary Tong, in her book Feminist Thought, A Comprehensive Introduction, wrote that female subordination is rooted in a set of constraints that block women's entrance to and success in the so-called public realm. This makes the issues of the feminist agenda primarily to put women and women's issues back into the public and political field. So, the knowledgeable woman at the caucus might say, as a feminist, it's important that we have women in high positions in government. And she would be totally right. However, representation means more than just having a vagina. UC Berkeley professor Hannah Pitkin's seminal work, The Concept of Representation, she emphasizes the distinction between standing for and acting for someone. Standing for women means that you look like them. Acting for women means that you're fighting for their interests. And I think it's more important to focus on what our representatives do rather than just who they are. But the Righteous Caucus woman might say, Hillary both stands for women and fights for women's rights. And to a certain extent, she would be right. However, Hillary is as much a part of the patriarchal financial establishment as any male candidate. Hillary Clinton has a long history of having to serve the interests of large corporations. Over the course of her political career, J.P. Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, and Citigroup have all been among her top political donors. And if a woman has to rely on several hundreds of millions of dollars from big banks in order to succeed in politics, then most women can't have access. Hillary has also rejected a single-payer health insurance system, voted against a $15 minimum wage, and decried the ideas of free state college tuition. And this shows that Hillary is against some of the policies that give the rest of American women a real fighting chance. I believe that accessible college education, campaign finance reform, and reduced corporate power are the best ways to get women into politics. But, the indignant caucus woman might say, Hillary can't be the establishment. She's decried in the media, and everyone's always saying sexist statements about her. But Hillary is using sexism really as a shield to distract voters from her policy positions. Hillary has been using her gender strategically in this election, as you might know. As New York Times editorialist Amy Chozick says, she's playing up her gender as her main strength. However, you can't emphasize your gender in that way and then decry anyone who touches on it as being sexist. In fact, crying sexism every time that her less than progressive views are called into question is completely anti-feminist and an insidious way that Hillary tries to appeal to the emotions of voters. Capitalizing on the victim mindset is counterintuitive to feminism. If Hillary wants to be perceived as strong, especially as a woman, then she needs to stand on the issues and ignore the people who are bullying her. Liberal feminism means that all women, not just women of privilege, white women, women who are rich, deserve a voice in the public sphere. And true feminism means that no one gets to tell you what's best for you, and no one gets to tell you which candidate represents you best. Promoting the cause of only a small sliver of women is not a feminist stance. Rather, it's an example of how one certain woman of privilege can assume her own role in the established male patriarchy. And many people now are supporting Hillary based on her being a female alone, instead of voting for what's best for their interests. But true progressives don't vote based on emotion, and they don't vote based on genitalia. So if you are a feminist, just know that it's okay to say no to Hillary Clinton. Thank you.
Beep boop.